Hi, welcome. So in this video, we are going to look at the brief introduction to Formulae, that is preliminaries for those of you who've never used Excel Formulae before. Before you go jumping to write Formulae, let us just see some preliminary things like relative references, fixed references, and then maybe how to do autofill and some operators, logical operators or mathematical operators. So these are things that are the basics that you need to understand before we go to the subsequent videos on the if formula, on the count, sum, if, whatever. But then just to understand the preliminaries, especially of how Excel does its calculation, like the relative reference, which you would see. So let's just go and then let's do the introduction to formulae before we go to the formulae themselves subsequently. So here, I'll just create a new sheet. Click here, and I'll just call this double click, and then I'll just type and I'll call it intro to formula. Yeah, so let me just increase zoom in so that you can be able to see clearly. Then I'll just say arithmetic operators. So this is just basic arithmetics equal to plus addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and then power. We'll look at power later, but these are the basic, very basic arithmetic operators. So we can say there's a plus sign is when you want to add two things. The minus sign is when you want to subtract. Multiplication, and then division. So you can have that division. Let me just double click here, and then I put the division. So this is these are the arithmetic operators. So that's when you're going to say maybe 5 plus 2, 5 minus 4. So Excel is like a big calculator which is able to do these arithmetic operations. Now the next kind of operators are the logical operators, which you need to also understand, and you would use this even in your on other programming languages as you go ahead in this series. Logical operators like equal to, not equal to, greater than, then you have greater than or equal to, greater than, and equal to, less than, and equal to. So this first equal to, this the equals to sign. Then the not equal to sign, there are two ways of writing it. You can either use this exclamation sign with equal to join to it, or you just use these two signs, which is the first one is the less than and the other one is the greater than. So which, if you see here again, the greater than is that sign, and the less than is greater than or equal to, greater than equal to is greater than, then equal to after it, enter. Then you have less than, equal to after less than, and then less than, equal to after it. So these are your operators, and these are the basics. So for example, in Excel, when you'll be writing your formula, you would say something like equal to, because you always start a formula in Excel with equal to. So you say equal, that's the logical operator, 5, then maybe plus 4, then you press enter. So now you have 9. So with your arithmetic operators, you can do maybe 5 minus equal to again 5 minus 4. Then you press enter, you get 1. So you could still do the same for 5 times 4 equal to 5, then times 4 times 4, and then you press enter, you get 20. So this Excel is a big calculator you can use to do some of your basic calculations. Now, what is the next thing? It is looking at autofill. It's good to understand this concept as a beginner when you're writing your formula. Autofill, we have looked at it in previous videos, but let's just look at it again here and see. So when I write a formula like this one, let me just copy it. You can copy and then you paste here. You have it like that. So when I write a formula like this one, 5 plus 4, I could fill it to fill the whole of this place, and that is autofill, to pull the formula along. So how do you do that? You make sure you hover around, and then when you reach here to the right, you see this dot here at the right. When you come close to it, your cursor is going to change to a very thin cross, and that's the moment that you click on it and then you pull it. So let me go back. If it doesn't turn to the cross and I click and I pull, I don't get any autofill. So if it turns to the cross here at the end, I click and pull it, I get the autofill. So it has the same 5 plus 4, 5 plus 4, 5 plus 4, 5 plus 4 everywhere. I could still pull it to the right, still with that plus. I still get the same formula. I could still pull it to the left, and then I could still pull it like this. So it can go up, it can go down, it can go left, it can go right. It's still going to do the autofill for you. So now we're going to write some formulae in one cell, and the objective is that we are going to use this autofill to not write the same formula maybe several times. So this autofill would help you do that. So let me just delete that. So that is another concept which is very important to know. The next thing is we are going to look at is the relative reference. So let's look at relative and fixed references. So I'll just type here relative and fixed references. So it's a concept which for beginners at times is difficult to understand, but if you want to really be good writing formulae, you need to understand this and it will help you go faster. You can also manually modify your formulae without understanding these fixed and relative references, but let's just go through it and try to follow through, and with practice I know you're going to get it right. So let's just use an example. Imagine you have let's say it's a bank or so. You have 1,000 that you've deposited, or 2,000, 3,000, and then they are according different interest rates. So you can have 1%, you can have 2%, you can have 3%. So here you want to say, if I get 1,000, how much do I get? So you're going to do equal to this, the 1% times the 1,000. So it gives you 10. Now, how does Excel work? By default, Excel works with relative references. Relative means that it says relative to this position M4, I would move one step to the left, which is L4, get the value that is there, and then I'll move one step up, which is M3, get the value that is there, and multiply the two of them to get this answer. So remember we talked about all these references. If you have not seen them, you go to the previous video. There are some earlier videos, beginner videos. Now let's pull this autofill this way. So as expected, since Excel uses relative references, it's still going to say, as I'm in this cell N4, I have to move one step to the left, which would be M10, and then I have to move one step upwards, which is N3, multiply the two, and I get 20,000. So which means that with relative references, this answer will not be correct. Same as we come down here, it says I have to move to the left, get 2%, and move top, get 10%. I could still copy this formula and paste it maybe anywhere out here and paste. Now, what it's expecting is that something should be on the left and something should be on the right. So for example, if we put maybe 3 here and then we put 4 here, see we get 12. So it is so that's what makes it possible that you can pull the formula all over, because it just has to say I just have to blindly look to the left and on top and multiply. It's always by default operating on relative references. But how do we fix this so that when we pull it this way, it should still stay on this 1%? That is where you need to use fixed references, so that when you pull this formula like this, it should give you 20, for example. So what would happen is you need to it's something that you would practice, you get it right. But the first way to access fixed reference that you need to know is you need a $sign to make it fixed. So how do you get a $sign there? Either you write it manually with your hand, dollar, like this, it will still work, or the simple shortcut is to use F4 on your keyboard. So you press F4. If you press F4, you have a $sign before the L, so which means that this L is fixed. The whole of this column is fixed. Or you have on the 4, which means that the whole of this row of 4 is fixed. So let me just show you. Press enter. So if I pull this, I get 20, I get 30. So what has happened now? It means that I've been able to, if I click here to see, I've been able to use the left. Second, it doesn't go again that one step to the left, but up. It knows that I just have to go pick up L4 because it has been fixed, and then any other thing is dynamic. Same as here, I still always have to pick L4, and every other thing else is dynamic. So you could pull this formula this way, and even if you take this formula, you copy it, you paste it here, it will still always go back to L4. So it's always L4 and what is on top of me. So even if you paste it anywhere, it's now you fix this L4 to not be relative again to the position, but fixed on this cell L4. So that's an example of how you use fixed reference. Now let us see. Let's go a bit more advanced with this. So if I pull this down, I get, now what happens? This is fixed here, but it's not fixed on the 1000. So relative, it says I know I have a fixed reference of this L4, but I also have to get a fix. I don't have a fix of the M, so you keep coming down. So which is why if you pull it down here, let me just pull it, even right down here, it still takes the L4 fixed, but it's always taking what is on top, what is on relative. So this one is still relative. So what we want to do is we want to tie it both this way and tie it both this way. So let me just go back here, and then if you see here, now what if we put all fixed here? If you guess right, when we pull it, it's going to get the same, because even here it's still just going to say I just have to pick these two fixed things. Even here just says I have to pick these two fixed things. So we have to make it in such a way that like we saw here, it should stay on L here, and it should stay on 3 here. So let's see here. So we have to make it stay on L. So I'm going to press this and keep it fixed to the L, not to the 4. And on here, I'm going to also press this F4 again and keep it fixed there. So let's see if I press that and I pull it this way, I get the 10, 20, 30. And if I press that and I pull it this way, I get as expected 20, 30, 60. So we have been able to use the fixed and relative references to get to this solution. And by saying keep the L as you move down, stay on the L. As you move down, stay on the L. And as you move this way, stay on this one up here, the 3. As you move this way, stay on the 3 here again. So, and even if you go down, don't leave the 3. So it's interesting. I know it might take some time for you to understand this, but then just practice this. Already, you know, we're already getting into the intermediate Excel. Just practice this and you're going to get it right, because this is something that when you practice is going to really boost your formulae very, very greatly. So just review it and I think you'll be comfortable with this. Okay, so let's move on now to just summing with syntax. So what I'll do, I'll just like show you a basic formula. So let's just say we have our sales, and then we it was 200, 300, 400, 500, and then we can just maybe just talk about maybe day 1. I'll just put that back up there. Day 1, day 2. Then remember the series thing we saw in the last video, in previous videos, like this. So we want to get maybe the total here. So simple entering formula in Excel is very simple, like we saw equal. Just say equal to. Then now you can either like type it like this, you know, a formula syntax. So equals to sum. Then now you see sum here. Let's say I double click on the sum. It tells me it needs the number, comma, the second number, comma, the fourth number, comma, the fifth number, comma, the sixth number. So an easy way people do it is to select all of these. But if you read the syntax here, it's saying it needs this, and then you want to sum with this, and then you want to sum with this. See, each time you're on the next one, it gets dark. So here, the next number, and then we can close it, close the bracket, and then we press enter. So it is 1400. So an easier way to do it is to just select the range, entire range like this, select like this, and then you press enter, and then you get the same amount, which is this. So that is entering it now using the formula syntax. So you could still as well have come directly here to the formula bar. From here, you just click on the formula bar, press equal to, do your sum, still select it, and just follow the guidance. They say give me number 1, number 2, give me the series that you want to sum against, and then you just select it here like this. Still the formula bar, you close it with this, and then you press enter. So it still gives you the same thing. So another thing you need to know as your introduction to formula is you can click on this formula bar and you will see there are so many formulae here. So many. Some like this, you see this sum. So if I click on this sum, it already is like a quick access for me. It already gives me this sum quickly and I get the same answer. But then there are other different formulae here, recently used, financial formulae, so many, logical, if, and, or, text, learn, left, meet, find, dates. So you see there are just so many formulae, some for math, trigonometry, more engineering, compatibility. So that's why Excel is so broad and you can't get all these formulae. But then with the program we are doing for data analysts, we are going to focus on the key formulae that you're going to be using, and like things like if, conditional statements, so that you can be able to get the things that are important for you. But also you learn the syntax to know that if I want to do maybe let me say I just want to do left, for example. You see, I can. It takes a text and it takes a number of characters. So you will be able to learn the syntax. Same as I could also do it here, equals to left. Same thing. Click here. It will ask me for the text, which is the text, and the number of characters. So you have both ways of entering the formula. Where you go here, you search like this, and then you enter it like you saw the text. Let's say you have a text like John. Then you can either say equals to left. For example, we're going to see this function. So take the text, it's guiding you, comma, number of characters. I want the first 2 characters. Then I close it, press enter, Joe. Same as you could, that's typing the formula. Same as you could go to John, come here, then remember where it's located. Maybe it's the text, and then you go to the left. So this one is going to guide you. Some people prefer this way. Put in the text. Here is the text. Put in the number of characters, 2, and it's already showing you an example here. So you can simulate. You can say, no, I meant to put 3. No, I meant to put 4. I meant to put 1. That's the advantage here. And then you press, maybe let's put the same 2, and then you press OK, and you get the same one. Whatever way works for you. Either you type it directly like we did earlier, or you select the formula here. It's okay for you. For me, I mostly type because at times it's difficult to remember. Is text, is the left in the text, or in the logical, or in the financial, or in the lookup. So I just try to remember the syntax. I say maybe I need by the right right now. I know something that has to do with the right. So I'll just say equals to right. Wherever it is, it's going to pop up. Then I double click, and then I have the text and the number of characters. But you can still as well remember that the right was located here. In text, you go to the right. Where is it again? This is the right. Then you choose it and you do the same thing. So whatever way it works, whatever works for you, you're going to be able to get the formula right. So these are it: arithmetic operators, logical operators, autofill, relative and fixed references, and then basically how to enter formula using your syntax or using a dialog box. So I hope you were able to learn a lot of the introduction to Formulae. If you've never used Formulae before, hope it helps you get started, so that from next video, when we actually start using 1 or 2 common formulae that are used for analysis, it will not be a problem for you, because you already have the core foundation, which is the most important. So thank you so much. See you next video. Wish you good data luck.